Hey, Kevin Bass here, Baas Metalcraft Vintage Bike Addiction, here with Fix My Hog again. We're at my bike show. It's an amazing turnout. So many cool old bikes here, good people, sunshine, the beers are flowing, a lot of happiness, the camaraderie, man. This is what USA is all about, man. We got to get out, we got to live life, we got to enjoy it. And looking at old bikes, there's nothing that puts a better smile on somebody's face than seeing a cool old bike with a cool old story. So we're gonna walk around today and show you all these bikes, talk to owners when we find them. And like right here, look what we got. We got a 42 Jim Koskovich, 1942 Knucklehead. Now I know this bike has a little bit of a story to it.
A little bit of a story.
So you might want to tell the people watching what makes this bike so unique and rare. How many years have you known this bike, and then how many years have you owned it?
I've known this bike pretty much all my life. A friend of my dad's owned it. My dad was a pilot from Northwest Airlines. Guy he was flying with had this thing, and he bought it, I think, he was a second owner. He bought it in the late 40s, and I was born in 52, and in 56, I probably had my first ride on this when I was 4 years old, whatever. He'd bring it over to our place on the farm. My brothers and I, we'd pile on the back, we'd pile on the seat. I don't remember if anybody sat on the tank or what, but I've known this bike, you know, all my life. Kept track of the guy. I really like this bike. I've driven Hondas, Triumphs, whatever. And through the years, I'd go visit old Ed and talk about his bike, help him take it out, run it around up and down his driveway. And in the 70s, he asked me if I'd want to buy it someday, and I said, Ed, I'd love to own this bike. He says, well, when I sell it, you got first dibs. He said, there's a couple other guys wanting to buy it. There was a rep from AJ Foyt that came one time. He wanted to buy it, and he says, I didn't sell it, but you got first dibs. 10 years later, he gets a hold of me. He calls me up, he says, Jim, time to let the bike go. So in the mid-80s, he called me up, Jim, the bike's, I'm selling it. Ed, give me 2 days, see if I can round up the money. And gave him a call a couple days later, emptied out whatever bank account I had.
The best part about this bike and what this thing has is not the history alone, but it's original paint unrestored. So I mean, this has not been repainted. This is the original factory paint. Yeah. The Harleys and the Davidsons probably touched this when it went through the factory back then, you know? It's crazy. And for him to get it, he's keeping it in his family forever. It's got a sidecar, matching sidecar that goes on it. But what's great about this bike, an unrestored original paint bike, this usually is in a museum. He rides it. He rides it everywhere. He rides it more than guys do on their new bikes.
I got receipts from signed by Howard Belmont in the mid-40s. He had $150 or $200 worth of chrome done on it in the mid-40s. So I got those original receipts at home. They're kind of fun to look at.
About the only thing that was restored on this is the seat, as you can see, because he does put a lot of miles on it.
I did this myself.
Man, if you're looking at all these bikes, you gotta just understand it. Every one has a soul to it, it has a story to tell. Every single bike you see here has been somewhere else, been in other people's ownership, and we're just caretakers, you know? We're just passing it on to the next guy after we're done and gone. And these bikes will live on forever, and they have such a history. If you wish they could talk, you could just hear where they came from, who all had them, all the road trips, all the good stories. Man, they just got that soul. It just bleeds, it bleeds awesomeness, man. It makes me smile, makes me happy. Look at all these old bikes here, it's amazing. At the bike show today, we're putting on beautiful collection of bikes, man. We've been looking at choppers, bobbers, you name it, knuckles, pans, flatties. Right here we got a beautiful 1959 Panhead that a good friend of mine, Andrew, owns. And this one's got a really cool story. So Andrew, let everybody know kind of a little bit about this bike, the history of it, and what it means to you.
Well, my old man bought this bike in '82 from my mom's cousin. And I grew up on this bike, taking rides on the gas tank in diapers at about 1. So.
That's cool. So I understand you rode this bike all the way to Milwaukee for the Panhead reunion at the museum, huh?
Yep, all the way down 94 from up in Big Lake.
How many hours did it take you?
It took about 10, get about 90 miles to the tank here.
Any breakdowns or anything?
No, lucky. I had the wife chasing me with the trailer just in case, but
and that's what's beautiful about these, man. It's a work of art, but it's not a piece of art that goes on the wall. This is a rider, man. You put the miles on it.
And it's a lifestyle, you know. The saddlebags, normally one's for extra parts, the other one's for tools.
There you go.
You just don't know what's going to happen.
I love it. Well, thanks again for bringing it here, man.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
It's a beauty.